Okay, so next up we have quite a treat. I'd like to welcome back Rubén. It's always a pleasure to welcome back our own anytime. And he's going to be speaking with Brais on a topic about SU2 user service. So take it away. When you're ready, just hit escape and your browser will be ready. All right, perfect. It's all you. Take it away, guys.
Thanks so much, Tom. Well, thanks a lot for having us. I can say we're very excited to be here. I'm very excited to be here with you guys. To talk a little bit about the project that is probably a bit different from what we're going to see this morning. Very much linked to the stuff that we're doing in the company that we both work now, which is called Sngular. And the idea is that we have been thinking about how can we optimize the config time? How can we help the customers at the end of the day, or the users, SU2, to optimize their config time to be able to use SU2. So this yeah, there you go. So of course, probably all of you are thinking right now, what is this all about? It's a very different approach to it. So let me just start introducing where we're working. So we're working at different sectors. We're not doing really CSV or anything in that area, but rather we have a company on the technology consultancy area that we like to call it an ecosystem for. So we are a bunch of experts in different areas that we get together to solve the needs for our customers. So as you can see here is a non-comprehensive list of stuff that we do that goes from data and AI, it has design, it has IoT, and also we have other areas of expertise, for example, payments or services for retailers. Just brief introduction. I'm currently located in Spain. Down there is Coruña, but we have offices all over the place, and also some offices around the globe. So we have offices in USA, Chile, Mexico, etc., Singapore. And the idea is, okay, so how is it that we are here, right? So this year we set up in Coruña, which is a division of Sngular. We set up a collaboration with the University of Abalde. The idea was basically to combine three main ideas. So quality software is something that we firmly believe on. So better software yields better results. We need to make sure software is sustainable, scalable, and that works forever. Then we also wanted to combine that with open science, right? So let's work together. And finally, we're very much into industrial applications. So what we're into is technology. What we wanted to do is to drive innovation through this transfer. The goal for this chair that the director is Laura, and actually she's been kind enough to let me come here over. So next other initiative she's leading, but in this case, as I said, I miss these guys. She let me come over. Our idea is to make a real impact. So in this case, one of the main initiatives that we have is we support undergraduate students during their bachelor thesis to be able to do industry level projects that support scientific areas and at the same time are sustainable, and that they follow the three core ideas that I was telling you, right? So we want to do something that's scalable, that's sustainable, that student can do their project this year, next year, somebody else can continue working on that. Again, open science, right? We want to share it, the work with the students with the world, and we want to help them share it. And next, we want to work on innovation and the knowledge transfer. So probably all of these three, they resemble very much what you're used to, because SU2 is also focused on these three values. So we say, okay, this is the first year we're doing this. We have a proof of concept to do. I raised my hand and said, okay, maybe we can engage with SU2. The idea is, how can we help? Because of course we are different sectors. So we started thinking, and there's always interesting to have a monkey thinking there. What are the pains of SU2 from a point of view of a customer, from a point of view of a user? And we thought, from 2012 that this thing started, features have gone up. Wow. They have gone up a lot, and that means the number of config options has gone up by a lot. Last time I checked, there were plus 500 options. That makes it hard to set up a test case, right? There are a lot of options that are incompatible. There are a lot of defaults that are set in the background that you might not be aware of. That makes it harder for somebody that starts with SU2 to get into the code, right? How do I start with that problem? And as far as I remember, the idea was always that SU2 was easy to use. So I said, maybe we can help there. So we thought about it and we said, maybe there's an idea to optimize this config. And the first thing that came out was the GUI, right? I remember there had been talks about having a GUI and so on, but GUIs are very much linked to the operating system that you're working on. And also they will have to go straight into the main repo. Probably user time will go down, but developing time will go up by a lot because it will be all integrated. So we thought, this is not what we'll go for if it was for one of our customers. Let's make it a cloud service. And we immediately thought, well, that's definitely not an undergraduate project. We have a lot of experience in cloud. We have a lot of experience in moving data around. We have a lot of experience in all of that, but that's definitely not an undergraduate project. That's out of scope. What about if we just go for a config file generator? So we just think, okay, there are a lot of config options. Let's just condition them. Let's just make sure that if you select runs as your solver, you forget about 90% of your options. You don't need it. Then we thought, okay, this has to be easy to access. We want to make it open, it has to be easy to access. So we said, okay, let's just make it a public web service. And it has to be easy to set up. We don't want people to just. First thing we thought was, okay, I generate my config file, I download it, there you go. You can just launch it. Also, to push it a little bit, we thought maybe if we can easily install it on a server that has SU2 enabled, we can run it straight from the website. So as a proof of concept for a project that has lasted over the last couple of months, so it was like a very tight, focused idea that we got right in the summer. We said, well, let's just limit our scope to 5 items. So first, we want to be able to generate a config file through a guided process. Next, we want to be able to download. Next step, well, maybe we can connect to a server that has SU2 installed on it. And we want to submit the case straight from our browser. Finally, of course, if you submit a case, you need to make sure that whatever is running there, first, that it's running, and second, that it's running correctly. So we want to monitor and recover at least something. And that was the limited scope that we decided for this proof of concept, which at the end of the day makes Brais's bachelor thesis. So now Brais is going to do a small demo of how it works that with our helper there will help you optimize your config time. So let me just open this. So this is a public service, right? You can just go to SU2US.com. We have deployed it there in a server that we had board, and we just made it public forever. So guys, if you want.
Hi, I'm Brais Cibeira, a student of University of Coruña, Spain, and I'm going to make show a web application for helping users to create config files. We have followed SU2 styles and looks like other pages of the community, and I will focus on the wizard. But there are other functionalities like connecting to a server or sending files and launch SU2 to monitor response. I will start a new empty wizard following a tutorial example of the public set. The questions are conditioned, so the next questions depends on your previous answers. I choose Euler, runs. For that example, I choose runs. The answers save us in the right panel, and we can navigate through the answers group and change the values and continue again. In most of the questions, there is a default option. These options are the same as the source code of the repository, and you see all the values always. For that case, I will set 0.2 value for match number, and the rest of answers are the default values. For boundary conditions, we use a simple approach. In the future, it would be possible to set up options. There is a tooltip that shows you an example and help users to set up options. We use some default values for the demonstration for do more agile. And for example, this and this. And then we can see the tooltip again.
You see some of the questions they are conditioned depending on the country. A lot of the copy options
In multi-grid level, if we choose 0, there are no more questions about that. But if I choose other value, if question it question about the type. But in that example, I will choose 0 value following the example. Also we can see the meaning of the variables, multi-grid level, monotonical upwind scheme for conservation laws. And in that case, because of the time, we can we choose a 30 maximum number of iterations for do more agile. There are most default values, and there is error control in some of questions. In that case, I will only choose history because is the essentially for the example and one output frequency. Finally, we can choose two options: download a config file or send you directly to a SU2 server. It's possible because previously I have connected to a server and you select a mesh file to upload. And you choose the messages frequency to monitor the results. For example, then every 4 seconds we receive the information about the calculator.
So just to finish, if I see there you go. There you go. So you see that's the demo. So as I was telling you earlier, this is just a proof of concept. There are a lot of questions there. We just followed, we selected 5 or 6 cases from the tutorial suite. So we made sure that those cases would work. And then we say, okay, let's just see if it makes sense, right? That's normally how we approach this. So we have a lot of ideas. So of course, first thing is that for now we have limited computer. We have not handled all the user database and stuff like that, but it will be the next step to enable concurrent users also have a user database so you can store all your files or your connections. You can store cybersecurity is always an issue, so we make sure we can store passwords. That's always, of course, annoying that you don't have your passwords stored, but of course we want to make sure that's probably also a project that we need for people of cybersecurity. And then we thought more of the community-oriented stuff, right? So, for example, a config database that you can share, you can just store your config files there. You can just say, okay, this is the config file that was run for this application. Maybe you can just download it and start working with that. Version management. So now we're just using one version. Of course, the config file evolved, and we gave it a thought. Actually, it's not, we didn't work on it, but we gave it a thought on how we could use graph architecture to be able to work on ever evolving config options. And finally, if that were to go through, then it could even be possible to load it with the main repo. So this is on a different repo. It's not on the main repo of SU2. It's a completely different service that can be focused on. And that's pretty much it. So thanks a lot for listening, and for having us here.
Very impressive live demo. It went smoothly. It's well done. Very well done. Okay, so another question.
Wholeheartedly congratulate our youngest leader. You really made me enthusiastic. This is maybe a philosophical question. I didn't understand the difference between what you have done and graphically doing generate classified and used to run this.
Repeat the question.
Oh, yeah. So Piero was basically asking what's the main difference between this and a graphical user interface. Okay, it's graphical and it's a user interface. But normally, what you will think of a GUI will be something that you will install in your own system. So we just made it as a web server, a web application that you can just do the same thing, but you don't have to install anything. You just do it on your own.
I think it's fantastic. And I mean, my next primary ideas, there's clearly probably a local population here. When we started further. First idea that came to my mind is that it looks to me it would be an easy set for bachelor students in other universities. Even we talk about that.
Yeah, actually, we thought it on that direction. So not so much for people who is very used to the code, because at the end you have to go through a guided process. Although there was something that we didn't show, that you can just import config file, everything will get filled, but you will see maybe, okay, I forgot to config this thing, right? That's also there. But for students, there's the tooltip, there are like all the information that you can fill out, and then it will help them to.
Absolutely. What I was also thinking is that one option would be, of course, I'm into turbo machinery, but one option could be the team to choose the type of problem, and that simplifies a lot of the setting.
Yeah, it basically takes away 90% of the questions, because depending on the problem you have, then you don't have to set a lot of questions. There are some that are common, like linear solver, that's everywhere, but there are a lot of them that don't need to be there. So why bother to have a comprehensive list that you have to go through every time when you can just have a guided process? That's kind of what we thought about.
How is it coded?
Sorry?
How is it coded?
How's it coded? Oh, this is React.
The question was, how is this implemented? What languages?
Okay, so this is the front end, which is the web app, is React, which is a JavaScript-based framework. JavaScript, this part, and then the backend is Python. So you have a client server architecture. So in the server, this is the thing that is installing our system back in Coruña. And we have their SU2 installed in the version 7.3, if I remember correctly. And you just deploy a containerized version of a server service that is in Python. So that poses an API, and it is the one that retrieves all those messages. And then that's sent to the front end. The front end is React, which is very standard, I would say, on all this web development. So we thought this, I mean, the idea behind this is also that we do this kind of projects for students that come to do their internship with us, so that they get used to all of our common frameworks, right? And that we can help them to, okay, this is how you do testing, this is how you do. And we put all of that in open source. This is the domain, like the scientific domain bit is the one that we do with the university, and then we have other projects to do pretty much the same thing internally, and we put it open source. So it's teaching plus giving something to the world.
And congratulations. Fantastic job.
Thank you.
We can do one more. Pedro, just hang tight. You're next.
Hi, thank you. That was really cool. Also very interesting projects. Trying to know if the slots users from the unfeasible inputs, for example, the math functions, is you start new students?
Yeah, so I think if I got it correctly, if there will be a way to have like more personalized input with.
Just something that on a front-end level.
Yeah, that will make it easier, right?
If you have an error in your boundary condition setup, do you guys catch that
Uh,
and stop the user from inputting something that's
Okay,
not
if there will be error management basically at the end of the day. Yeah, the question is whether there will be possible to implement an error management system. Definitely. I mean, we haven't implemented it. As I said, this was a POC that we did over the summer. So this guy here has worked a lot on this. But the idea is, of course, I mean, we also thought about parsing the mesh file so you can just get the markers and you make sure the number of markers you have it there. You could do all sorts of things for error management. You saw some of the functionalities there that you need to input at least one option here because otherwise the code will not run. That will be a matter of like larger project where we will have to go over all the errors, just develop the functionality. But for sure, that's the next natural step.
Yeah, we better stop here, but I sense there are a lot of questions, so talk to these guys over break and at lunch. So thank you both again for a great talk.
Thanks so much.